This has been such a pleasure today. Thank you to all of our musicians. Now, earlier this morning, if you were here, I made an announcement that the jazz band brought a lot of sound with them, and if you had hearing aids, you should turn them down, turn them back up, or not if you don't want to hear the sermon. The tragic death of Jerry Becker's son on Tuesday, a funeral on Wednesday, a wedding here yesterday, my life in a nutshell, death and funerals, love and marriage. Reminds me of that movie from the 1990s, 4 Weddings and a Funeral. I don't know about you, but sometimes it seems like we celebrate life in one moment, and in the next moment, we deal with death. We move from laughter to tears. It's just a constant back and forth between joy and sadness. And that's what Palm Sunday is all about. Laughter and tears combined. Not only is today known as Palm Sunday, it's also Passion Sunday. It's 4 weddings and a funeral all rolled into one day. On Palm Sunday, we wave the palm. That was supposed to be graceful. We wave the palm and we celebrate Jesus, and we see him ride into town on a donkey, and we cry Hosanna. And then on Passion Sunday, the same day, we remember his arrest, trial, and crucifixion. We have the ups and the downs all rolled together, and preachers around the country are floundering today, trying to capture it all in 10 minutes. With today being both Palm Sunday and next Sunday being Easter, it's easy to slide right past Passion Sunday. But to appreciate Easter is to experience the story of the Passion. The Apostle Paul wrote, "For if we have been united with him in a death like his, we can certainly be united with him in a resurrection like his." Well, holding on and letting go is part of this human journey we're on. From the time you are so young that you need a hand to hold on to when you walk, until the time in your later years when you need a hand to hold on to keep your balance. Life is full of these moments when we have to learn how to hold on and how to let go. Learning how to hold on and to let go is a balance that I think most of us struggle with through our lives. Sometimes it just flows. Other times it's like ripping off a Band-Aid or pulling at our stitches. Sometimes we know instinctively how to reach out with open arms that convey freedom in their embrace. But other times we hold on to people so tightly that we crush the fullness of our affection inadvertently. Sometimes we live with a sense of adventure and we thrive in new situations, and other times we grow anxious about details and we can't let go of our need to control. Sometimes we're open to new possibilities, but other times we're bonded to our expectations. I've been trying to think, why is it so hard for us to let go? Why do we seem to resist loss? Well, I think it's because we have a basic instinct for survival. Our survival instinct is strong. But we have to remember that the purpose of a survival instinct is to preserve and to enhance life. But in us, that instinct can become imperceptibly co-opted by some subtle selfishness. Insecurity and even greed can affect our survival instinct, and that instinct begins to shift a bit away from what will enhance and build up life to what controls and possesses life. In other words, we quit wanting to enjoy the goodness in our lives, and we want to own it, to store it up, to expand it, to manipulate it for our own purposes and according to our own desires. And when we face this problem, that we cannot let go of the lure of survival, we need to turn to Jesus and Holy Week. Jesus was a man who obviously loved life. He had a distinctive zest for life. People clearly enjoyed being around him. And I think that indicates to us that he was a person who had attractive personal qualities of spirit. He valued his life and he valued the lives of others. He showed people how to live and value their health. Think of all those that he touched and healed and told them to go, to walk again, to live fully, to enjoy their lives and their health. But at the same time, our traditional word for today shows that Jesus, who seemed to know that his life was about to end, struggled with letting go. So our scripture text for today is from Mark 14. They went to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." He took Peter and James and John and began to be distressed and agitated. And he said to them, "I am deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and keep awake." And then going a bit further, he threw himself on the ground, and he prayed that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. He said, "Abba, for you all things are possible. Remove this cup from me. Yet what I want, not what I want, but what you want." He came back and found them sleeping, and he said to Peter, "Simon, are you asleep?" This is the elbow in the ribs moment. "Are you asleep? Could you not keep awake for 1 hour? Keep awake and pray that you might not come into the time of trial. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." And again he went away and he prayed, saying the same words. And once more he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were very heavy, and they did not know what to say to him. He came a third time and said to them, "Are you sleeping and taking your rest? Enough! The hour has come. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Get up. Let us be going. My betrayer is at hand." He prayed, "Abba, through you all things are possible. Remove this cup from me. Yet not what I want, but what you want." Hold on or let go, he seemed to be asking. At one time or another, most of us will be faced with this same question. Should we hold on or let go? It may be a relationship with a friend that is in doubt. Hang on or let go. Perhaps it's a job. Hang on or let it go. It could be a decision about a parent or a spouse whose health is failing. Hang on or let go. It could be a house, a mortgage, a degree program, a beloved pet. Hang on or let go. It may be your own life's decision when that time comes. Hang on or let go. Having watched this intimate process in people's lives as their pastor, I have witnessed this time of questioning over and over, and I've had to struggle myself with these choices as a person. We got a new dog this week. She is absolutely wonderful. She's a rescue dog. We don't know her history. I brought her to work with me because I didn't know her well enough yet. And then I left her at home the next day because she was so nice and calm, so relaxed, so snuggly. She tore our blinds, our drapes. I need help, Diane. Diane does drapes. She ate up our carpet. She went in all 5 bedrooms and marked her territory. She ate the blinds and the curtains in the bedrooms. Hang on or let go, I said to Eric. Sweet little thing. One of the most important tools in learning how to let go is finding ways along life's experience before we need to let go to learn how to yield. Yielding involves a spirit of receptivity, a willingness to enter life as it presents itself to us, to embrace what is. And that means that we accept the goodness and the enjoyment that come along with life, and equally that we're willing to allow pain when it is necessary. We think of people who yield as less than strong, yet I have noticed that it takes a great deal of strength to yield. Jesus showed us how to yield. He prayed, "Not what I want, but what you want." Now, our cultural bias tells us to be in control is to be strong, but to yield is to be weak. Because yielding means letting go of power, but letting go is the only way we can learn to trust. And so our letting go is crucial to the spiritual journey. In fact, it's part of almost every major religious tradition. There's a Jewish mystical principle about control that goes this way. Originally, everything was God. God filled the universe, but in order for anything else to exist in the world, God had to retreat a little bit. God stayed close, of course, but God saw the job of withdrawing as a divine mission. And so when people were trapped, say the slaves in Egypt, God parted the waters. When they traveled through the wilderness, God sent manna and quail and helped Moses find water. It was God's daily interaction that got them through the crisis. God was, day by day, sometimes minute by minute, a miracle maker, wrote Dr. Wendy Mogul. But according to this Jewish principle, over time, God began to withdraw and made fewer miracles. And as humanity matured, God withdrew and left us to our own devices. And we humans took lots of false steps along the way, but we learned from our mistakes and became more resilient people. And like God, of course, humans are also miracle makers. We need to monitor everything, but as children mature, the parent needs to also withdraw and smooth the path a bit. And this is the only way, goes the Jewish doctrine, that children will mature into self-reliant adults. So we learn to face our own lack of control when we raise children, because the whole exercise is raising them in order for them to leave. And we learn about our own lack of control, again, as our parents age. And we learn how little control we have when someone we love is seriously ill. So one of the greatest tasks in life is learning to yield and to let go. Some of my favorite lyrics from Children of Eden, God and Adam are dialoguing about this letting go process. and the lyrics are in your bulletin. It says, "You cannot close your heart to what it fears and needs to know, that the hardest part of love and the rarest part of love and the truest part of love is the letting go." How many of us have talked about controlling our lives or even controlling our deaths? We all know that ends are a part of what it means to have beginnings, yet we would like very much to control the process. We would like to trick ourselves into believing that suffering is the enemy to be avoided at all costs. We even talk about avoiding suffering as if we have a choice. But contrary to popular belief, we have very little evidence that even Jesus controlled his own death. I've heard it said, Jesus chose to die. The truth is that, like us, his only choice about death was how he would respond. And this is the holiest part of Holy Week. During his last days, we're told that Jesus provided for others, helped others accept his death as part of life, and that he facilitated closure for his followers. We see him talking with his friends and followers in a very matter-of-fact way. He prepares them for what is to come, and he even washes their feet. We hear that he took his closest friends away for a special time to pray, and we get to listen in as he celebrates his life with his friends in a commemorative way at the Last Supper. I did not know her, but I've heard about a former member of a congregation I served. Her name was Irma Weiss. Her legacy lives on because of how she handled her own death. When Irma learned that she had terminal cancer, she got busy preparing her friends for her own death. Irma set up a series of dinner parties at her house. She invited friends and family members to come in small groups to her home. I doubt that she was able to cook food. Perhaps she ordered it in, or maybe she asked people to bring food, but food isn't the important part of Irma's story. Because once her friends came, she did her best to make them feel comfortable at her table, and she quickly gave them an update about her health. But she spent the rest of the evening telling them one by one what they meant to her, and how much she loved them, and how she had grown from her friendship with them. And then she gave them each something of her own. She gifted her friends and family with pieces of her lives. And as she did that, she let go, holding on, letting go. It's what this week is all about. From a palm processional to a foot washing, from a Last Supper to a betrayal, from a garden to a cross. Jesus told us how to hold on to the precious gift of life, and then slowly how to let it go. A New Zealand prayer book contains this prayer. Jesus, when you rode into Jerusalem, the people waved palms. They gave shouts of acclamation. Grant us that when the shouting dies, we may still walk beside you, even to a cross. Amen. As you're able, please stand and let's sing together our choral benediction.